Reparations is a very controversial topic in the African American community. Most people support it, and they should. And a big person that's really pushing the agenda on reparations for African Americans is Tariq Nasheed. He just had a very successful event in Washington, D.C. just a few days ago, but he recently visited the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast. Stop the show. That's what I'm wearing right now. Their particular logo on my shirt, and if you want one, you should go and get one yourself. But let's get back to the topic. Tariq Nasheed was there expressing his claim for reparations.
So what do you say about, because the whole conversation about reparations, I know you have the rally for reparations June 15th in DC, and what do you think about the people that's saying that how you should distribute reparations, or what black people should get reparations, or should all black Americans get reparations? Like, what was that conversation?
No, the reparations should be strictly for foundational black Americans, descendant of freedmen, because we were the ones who suffered in slavery. See, it's reparations for slavery. It's not reparations for racism, because a lot of people want to come on and get like, hey, I'm black, I dealt with racism.
Selectively black people.
Right. They're black when it's convenient.
Yeah.
The thing is, we can't let everybody say I'm black and I should get reparations, because some of you voluntarily came over. You can't say I fought to get over here, but now I'm discriminated against, so I need some resources. No, this is our homeland. We've been here. We've been here from the beginning, and we were mistreated on our own homeland, and we have to get compensated. If we let other melanated people say, well, I'm black and I'm an immigrant and I should get reparations too, that opens the door for Hispanics. They can say, well, I was mistreated too. Asians can say, I was mistreated too, I need to get in on that. So that's going to open the door to a lot of bad things to happen, just like affirmative action. Affirmative action was supposed to be for black people.
Right.
Then we let them slip in one word and messed it all up. Minority. Nobody was using minority in the 1960s until 65. When we start saying we need to get something to be compensated, they said, well, let's do it for minorities. They slipped that word in, and everybody and their mama ran in the minority door and got affirmative action. And we're the last ones to get it. We didn't get nothing. White women started being minorities then.
And according to what he's saying there, a particular city in Illinois agreed with what he was talking about. That city is a Chicago suburb by the name of Evanston, Illinois. Now, if you've ever heard of Evanston, Illinois, there is a really great school that's there, Northwestern University. Now, Northwestern University is on par with other elite schools like the University of Chicago, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Columbia. That's the kind of school that Northwestern is. It's a prestigious elite school. So it is very rich and successful as a suburb. So this particular community understood that what Tariq Nasheed was trying to get across was right. As a city, they had made several steps against African Americans and felt like they needed to pay them back for those years that they held them back with their racial inequalities. But then this happened.
A Chicago suburb is facing a lawsuit for paying out reparations to its black residents. Evanston, Illinois became the first municipality in the U.S. to launch a government-funded reparations program. But a conservative group has filed a class action lawsuit claiming the program discriminates against non-black residents. For more on this, let's bring in Emmanuel Felton. He's a race and ethnicity reporter for the Washington Post who has been covering this story. What are the grounds for this lawsuit?
Yeah, so the conservative group Judicial Watch argues that this program discriminates against non-black residents of Evanston. So under Evanston's reparations program, if you lived in the city between 1919 and 1969, or you're the descendant of someone who did, and you're black, you qualify for reparations, because the argument is during those 50 years, Evanston instituted a bunch of racist, segregationist housing policies that deprive wealth from the black residents of town. So they're saying this is our effort to rebuild the wealth that we deprived from you. Whereas Judicial Watch says, you haven't proved exactly who was harmed by these policies. And so by opening it up to all black residents, you're discriminating against non-black residents. And this is really part of a larger wave of conservative challenges against programs that came up after George Floyd's murder, right? So we're seeing, with the last year's Supreme Court decision in the affirmative action case, that the courts are very weary of these programs that give benefits to certain ethnic groups. And that's sort of having a clash with all of these programs, both in the government and in private sector. Like, just recently this week, a program that was going to give Black women in Georgia who were starting businesses grants was struck down by an appellate court. So there's sort of a clash here between, how do we fix our age-old problems of racial discrimination in a way that really satisfies a federal judiciary that's really only interested in race-blind policy.
Do you think the city will fight this all the way? I mean, what are they vowing to do?
That's what they're saying. They refuse to comment for the story, citing pending litigation, but they're saying they vehemently support this program. And they're looking to fight it all the way up. And, it's a program that they're very proud of. Evanston is very proud of being the first in the nation to institute something like this. But when you're the first, you open yourself up to challenges that, hopefully, if you're the second or third, you've learned from what didn't work for the first.
The people are at the center of this, who would be the recipients of reparations. What are they telling you about this legal fight?
Yeah, well, it's already happened. So Evanston's already paid nearly 200 people $25,000 each. So this is something that is already changing lives in Evanston. The question is, for all the people who were, so essentially how it worked is they pulled like bingo balls. And so if you were later in the poll, you were later in the wait list. So there's still hundreds of people on this wait list. And the question is what it will mean for them. It's already changed, from the people I've talked to. It's already, I don't know if it's 25,000 has changed their lives as much as it felt like a significant acknowledgement to them of the harm that was really caused here and across the country by housing policy for 50 years that, really deprived Black folks of the ability to build wealth in the same way that white folks were able to with programs like the GI Bill and such.
Strangely enough, non-Black people got upset that African Americans were getting $25,000 per resident. So they're suing Evanston, Illinois. But before I get into that, I want to talk about something that happened on TikTok a few days ago. There was a white lady that went into a store and there were all Black dolls. Check out what she said.
We're in the Dollar Tree right now, and we just noticed that there's only one skin tone with the baby dolls and the Barbies and the puzzles. On the one hand, it's good that they have representation, but are they just saying that only Black people shop here and not white people? Mommy, what do you guys think?
She then tried to cover it up with this.
The last video I posted has some mixed comments on it. Some are saying that is very strange, and a lot of you guys are saying that this is fine, and that's totally fine. When my 2-year-old daughter actually starts caring about Barbies, I will start buying her Barbies with multiple skin tones. So I love the representation. I just think it should go both ways. That we should have all the skin tones at any Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Walmart, Target. And I do understand that Dollar Tree is a smaller store, so maybe they just ran out of the white baby dolls. I don't know.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What does a white woman talking about dolls in this reparation lawsuit have anything to do with each other? Well, both are the same concept. You have a white woman who understands that white people are the majority. They also understand that many bad things have happened to Blacks, but at the same time, now they want racial equality. Although they have the numbers, although everything is in their favor, they're on the dollar bills. Most presidents are white. Everything is white. But what they're saying is now, wait a minute, we're in a case of equality now. So why should the Blacks get it and not everybody else? Because something happened to the Blacks that didn't happen to anyone else. And these conservative groups, I guarantee you, there are white conservatives that are saying that. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, O'Shea, you're a Black conservative. I am, for the Black community. But there are white racists in every sector. You got white racists as liberals and white racists as conservatives, okay? So there you go. And anybody who is against reparations for African Americans, I don't even care if you are Black, you are anti-Black. And I would urge even some of the other brothers that's not from the African American community, let's say you're from another community of Blacks, don't give negative commentary towards this situation. I've seen many people, whites. I've seen some other people, black. I've seen people saying that they're gonna cancel Black History Month, like Morgan Freeman. He don't believe that he's a part of Black history. He's a part of American history. I'm gonna get Morgan Freeman's ass later. But the situation is, stay out of the reparations debate, okay? If you're an African American who feel that African Americans don't deserve reparations, just be quiet. If you're in the diaspora, if you're from another African or Caribbean community, stay out of it, okay? Because the situation is that wherever your home country is from, you deserve whatever was done wrong to you. And these whites know that. They know what our people have been through. They know about the slavery and the Jim Crow, but they're telling you that they don't care. And a lot of people will sit back and be married to people like this. You'd be surprised how many whites that have this talking point that got a black wife, got a black husband, got mixed kids. They don't mind sleeping with you and mind doing anything else, but they don't want you to have your just due. The reason is they don't want to give up their advantage. Whenever white people talk like this, or anybody else that talks like this, either the white person doesn't want to give up their advantage, or the black person doesn't want the white person to give up their advantage, and they want the crumbs from that person's table. You gotta watch people like that. Even this lady who's upset, it's all black dolls at the 98-cent store. If you want a white doll, why don't you go to another place where all white dolls are? Did it ever occur to you that all the white dolls were sold out because we like racism and everything white is right? So the only thing that was left were the black dolls? But you didn't care because it's not their problem to care. You see, people want to keep blacks at the bottom. That's their job. They don't want to see us as a group come up and get our just due. They want to remain in control of everything. And whenever you see Caucasians or non-blacks talking like this, you should stay away from them, because why? You can't trust them. Any black person against reparations that speaks negatively of this, they give you excuses. Well, what you gonna do with the money? Y'all gonna do nothing but spend it, or how are they gonna figure it out? Well, Evanston, Illinois figured it out. They have a way they figured it out. Evanston, Illinois, they figured out something. They figured out a time period in which they were being racist against blacks. That was the years. So they said, okay, we know during this time, we had these policies against African Americans. Who are the descendants of these people today in Evanston? We're gonna give them this money. They solved it. Any other person that's black would want that. Don't talk about what the government is going to do. Are they gonna raise prices? Well, what they're gonna do with the money? Listen, don't worry about that. Let people get what they're supposed to get, because they've been getting what they've been getting. I'm in Uganda right now. Uganda could be a lot richer than what it is. Wanna know a lot of the truth going on in these African countries? The whites have stolen a lot from these people. Nigeria, they've stolen a lot. They stole a lot from Jamaica and the Caribbean. They stole a lot from a lot of these places, South Sudan and different wars and stuff. Kenya, they stole a lot. So if the whites want to come back and offer some or all of which they stole, shouldn't you take it? Yes. They done took people's artifacts. Look at Nigeria. They took their artifacts and some of their artwork from the continent back to the British Museum, and then finally got some of that stuff back. They deserve to have what they have. So why would you be against that? Don't be against what they owe you, because they owe it to you. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Oshida Jackson, back at it again with another episode of Fair Use. I'm out.